Have you ever wondered if Neanderthals were capable of speech and language? Well, recent research has revealed new evidence that suggests they were. However, the level of sophistication of their language system is still debated among researchers. In this video, we will explore this fascinating subject, shedding light on the communication abilities of our human ancestors. The investigation of whether or not Neanderthals might have been capable of speech and language is a subject that is currently the focus of ongoing research as well as discussion. On the other hand, there is evidence to suggest that Neanderthals were capable of speech and that their linguistic abilities were comparable to those of modern humans. This theory is supported by several pieces of evidence, one of which is the discovery of FOXP2 gene. According to recent research, Neanderthals had a version of this gene that was extremely similar to the version that is found in modern humans. Studies have shown that Neanderthals had this gene, which is associated with the development of language in modern humans. This gene was also present in modern humans. This demonstrates that they possess the genetic ability to communicate verbally with one another. The investigation of Neanderthal fossils provides additional proof in support of this hypothesis. Due to the shape of their vocal tract, which includes the shape of the larynx, pharynx, and the base of the skull, it appears that Neanderthals had the physical ability to produce a wide variety of vowel and consonant sounds. It appears that they communicated with one another by using their voices. This suggests that they would have been capable of articulating complex sounds, which is a necessary ability for the development of language and is indicated by the fact that they possessed it. In addition, the hyoid bone of Neanderthals, which is a small bone that is located in the neck and is essentially for speech, has a shape that is very comparable to the hyoid bone of modern humans. Hyoids are bones that are located in the neck and are necessary for speech. This provides further support for the hypothesis that Neanderthals were physically capable of producing the sounds associated with speech. To examine the skulls of modern humans as well as those of our ancestors, the Neanderthals, researchers have used CT scans with high resolutions. By recreating visual 3D models of the ear structures that once attached to those skulls, scientists have been able to determine which species were capable of communicating with what we understand to be language and what species were not capable of doing so. This research lends credibility to the hypothesis that Neanderthals were capable of speech. However, the precise nature and level of linguistic sophistication of their linguistic abilities are still a matter that is actively investigated and debated. The research that was mentioned in the statement sought to investigate whether or not Neanderthals were capable of understanding and reproducing human speech by comparing the oral architecture of Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. Rolf Guam, an associate professor of anthropology at Binghamton University, said that the study is important because it supports the idea that Neanderthals could understand and make a human speech. Guam is of the opinion that the significance of the study lies in the fact that it provides substantial evidence to support the hypothesis. The study is also noteworthy because it's one of the few research lines that are currently ongoing that uses fossil evidence to study the evolution of language, which is a notoriously difficult subject in the field of anthropology. This is another reason why the study is noteworthy. It is one of the few research lines that use fossil evidence to study the evolution of language. By employing high-resolution CT scans, the researchers were able to generate digital 3D models of the ear structures of both Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. After entering the data that they had gathered from these models into the model, they then utilized a software-based model that was developed in the field of auditory bioengineering to estimate the hearing abilities of these two groups. They did this by entering the data that they had collected from these models. The findings of the research indicate that the communication system utilized by Neanderthals was every bit as advanced and efficient as that utilized by modern humans. It is evident that this is the case because they were able to pick up on the wavelengths associated with human language, particularly the bandwidth. On the other hand, the ability to produce speech sounds and the ability to use language is in no way the same thing at all. Even though the study sheds light on the possibility that Neanderthals used language, the level of sophistication and complexity of their language system is still a mystery. This is because the study sheds light on the possibility that Neanderthals used language. In spite of this, the findings of the study provide important insights into the development of language and communication in human ancestors, and it is without a doubt that it will encourage further investigation into the subject matter. The question of whether or not Neanderthals were capable of language remains a central topic of discussion in contemporary scientific circles. Other researchers contend that their linguistic abilities were comparable to those of early modern humans, while some researchers believe that their language may have been less sophisticated and limited in comparison to that of modern humans. One of the most contentious issues at hand in this debate is the issue of whether or not Neanderthals possessed a sophisticated method of grammatical organization. Despite the lack of concrete evidence in the form of written or recorded artifacts, a study of Neanderthal tools and artifacts suggests that they had complex culture and social organization, which would require sophisticated communication. This is the case even though no written or recorded artifacts have been found. In spite of the fact that there are no artifacts from this time period that have been written or recorded, this conclusion was still reached. Evidence from genetics and fossils suggests that Neanderthals possessed both the genetic and physical capabilities necessary for speech. It is a widely held belief that Neanderthals were able to communicate verbally. On the other hand, the specifics of their linguistic capabilities, such as their level of sophistication and the nature of the language they speak, are unknown. Some researchers believe that Neanderthals used a method of communication that heavily relied on gestures and body language, whereas other researchers believe that they had a more complex grammar system that allowed them to convey more abstract and complicated ideas. It is possible that Neanderthals were able to communicate with one another, although it is not known for certain which theory is accurate. Even though it is possible that we will never be able to determine the specific characteristics of the Neanderthal language, it is imperative that we continue researching and learning as much as we possibly can about these fascinating prehistoric humans. If we are able to learn their language and effectively communicate with them, it is possible that we will be able to gain new insights into their culture as well as their social organization and way of life. As we wrap up our exploration of the fascinating topic of Neanderthal communication, it's important to note that while there is still much we don't know, recent research has provided strong evidence that Neanderthals were indeed capable of speech and language. The discovery of the FOXP2 gene, the analysis of their vocal tract, and the shape of the hyoid bone all point towards the ability to produce complex sounds associated with speech. Furthermore, the recent study that we discussed, which utilized high-resolution CT scans to investigate the oral architecture of Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, suggests that the communication system utilized by Neanderthals was every bit as advanced and efficient as that which is utilized by modern humans. While we may never know the full extent of their linguistic abilities, the evidence we do have tells us that Neanderthals were far more complex and intelligent than previously thought. This opens up a whole new realm of possibilities for our understanding of human evolution and the development of language. Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery, and we look forward to sharing more exciting scientific findings with you in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below for more content like this. See you at the next one.